Welcome to Never Again is Now, a podcast about anti-Semitism. I'm Evelyn Marcus.
And I am Phyllis Zimbler Miller.
British mega rock star Roger Waters, the former bass player of the band Pink Floyd, is an advocate for Palestinian rights. In his shows, he criticizes Israel and Jews in an anti-Semitic way. We talk with two people who stood up to that in November 2023 when his show was coming to Argentina. Sergio Ziegelbaum and Luis Pastoriza are founding partners of the law firm Pastoriza, Alcayaga, and Ziegelbaum, Abogados, in Buenos Aires.
And Palazuelo.
And Palazuelo, in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Both lawyers have also taught in law schools in Buenos Aires. Sergio and Luis, welcome to our show. We are looking forward to learning more about your remarkable story.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Evie. Thank you, Evelyn, and Phyllis, so much for inviting us to your show and for raising awareness of our cause that in essence is the struggle against anti-Semitism.
Correct. Thank you. So, what were your personal reasons to stand up against the anti-Semitism of Roger Waters when his show was coming to Argentina? Sergio, could you tell us first, and then Luis, please?
Okay. I was born and raised within a Argentine Jewish family. My maternal ancestors were from Ukraine. They fled from the pogroms, escaping the pogroms in the late 19th century. And my father itself, he is a Shoah survivor. He arrived to Argentina in 1948, escaping the Nazis. And, being part of a minority, particularly the Jewish community, means, at least in my case, developing a special sensitivity to racial, religious, or whatever discrimination can be. Anyone who is Jewish and identifies himself as such is likely to have been targeted at some point in their life of discrimination. And being Roger Waters consistently publicly expressed himself pejoratively toward Jewish individuals in particular, and against the state of Israel, personally, when I saw his last show, his last world tour, This Is Not a Drill, when it took place in Europe, I think around April, May 2023, I was truly shocked. The content was of explicit anti-Semitism back in May 2023. And I feel inside myself an impulse to do something. And it's completely true what I'm going to tell you. It's during a lunch break in our work, I was sitting with Luis and Ignacio Palazuelos, and I told my friends, listen, I have to do something. And I want to file a criminal complaint against him.
Yeah, let's talk about what you did later on. But your personal
and my friends told me we back you up all the way. Don't worry. We go with you.
That's great. That's
the start of it. That's how we started.
Thank you. So, Luis, what motivated you personally to stand up against the anti-Semitism of Roger Waters?
Okay, Evelyn. I would say, frankly speaking, I was placed in a quite less complicated situation than Sergio, my friend Sergio. Okay, because the fact whatever Roger Waters did not affect me personally as much as he affected him. And I am answering you the question from an exclusively personal point of view. But personally, what drove me and also Ignacio to explore into the matter was how could I put it, sadness and huge concern that we observed in Sergio in connection with what he told us, what has happened in Germany in May of the shows that took place in Germany, actually Berlin, in the Mercedes-Benz Plaza in Berlin, Federal Republic of Germany in 2023. And I personally noticed my friend, who happens to be my partner, but above all, he's my friend, truly concerned about this. And he said, I want to do something. And I would like to somehow correct Sergio on that, because this emphasizes the second part of it, because our response from Ignacio Palazuelos and myself was not such automatic as Sergio said, okay, we'll do something. No, he said, okay, we understand how you feel, okay, but let us analyze this from a strict standpoint, law standpoint, okay? Because you might feel sad personally, but there might not be any kind of law violation.
Okay, so till here, please. So your personal motivation was to back up your friend and to stand up against,
To look for the legal answer.
Yes. The first motivation, my first drive was to back up and stand up for my friend. But the second drive was, no matter what, if a friend or a foe is involved in a law infringement, I'm a law lover. I love law, and law must be respected and enforced, no matter who is involved, whether an transcendental person or King of Spain or Roger Waters or whoever, okay?
That's great.
Then when I noticed that a friend of mine was affected on the one hand, and on the other hand, criminal laws have been violated, I skyrocketed. Then I decided, okay, we'll look into it. Okay, that's for my personal, those were my personal views, Evelyn and Phyllis.
Great. Thanks for sharing that.
I just want to say, to be fair to several of the cities in Germany where the concerts were, that they did. The cities tried to block the concerts, but clearly their legal actions, they didn't have you on board because their legal actions were unsuccessful and the concerts went through. So now, talking about those concerts, first, Luis, could you tell us what some of the anti-Semitic acts of Roger Waters, both what he wore and what he said, and Sergio, what does he say outside his concerts about Jews? So first one, then the other, okay?
Okay, I guess it's my turn.
Yes.
Basically, it's I will try to put it, Phyllis, in a very brief manner and comprehensible for all the audience. Basically, the contents of the shows that concerned our client, who is Sergio, because we acted as lawyers of our client Sergio, was that basically three aspects that used to appear in Mr. Roger Waters' shows. First of all, a giant flying pig. That's okay, but with a small detail, with a David star stamped on the giant flying pig, and that is unbearable, okay? Because it might hurt the sensitivity of so many people as it hurted the sensitivity of Sergio. On the other hand, the wearing of SS dressings by Roger Waters, using gunfires and shooting all the people, okay? Rehearsing what is undoubtedly a German officer, German SS officer. And the third thing is the comparison of Miss Shireen Abu Akleh with Anna Frank, okay?
Was she? Shireen
Abu Akleh was a war journalist, okay, who was struck by a bullet in the reporting of an attack between, I can't remember, Sergio has more details than that, between the Hamas group and certain Israeli forces, okay? She was a war journalist. She was not murdered. She was struck by a bullet, lost in the bullet, and it resulted that that bullet was fired by Israeli forces. But that's not a murder. That's an accident and it's a risk run by every war journalist.
Yes.
But those three are basically the
Wait,
three.
Luis, let me just explain for American audiences what you said. So Roger Waters in his concerts frequently put this picture of this war journalist next to a picture of Anna Frank. So that's what you're talking about.
That's
Yeah,
it.
and he compares both images as equal.
Okay, go ahead now.
And those are the aspects that were involved in the shows. But our complaint included not only those aspects, but also there are lots of press releases, graphic videos, and whatever, whereby Mr. Roger Waters clearly stated hate towards Jewish people. Okay, and clear stated hate. Doesn't matter whether it's Jewish people, Arab people, white people, black people, whoever. He was conveying faith-delivered messages, and that's not acceptable, at least under Argentine laws. Okay.
So he was Roger Waters in his shows and outside his shows was comparing the Israeli army or Israelis with Nazis. Is that correct?
Yeah,
That's it.
Actually, you asked me before. Which are the Mr. Roger Waters anti-Semitic, in our view, which are Mr. Roger Waters anti-Semitic view expressions or deeds outside the show? And actually, if we, the Jews, we are accustomed to see Mr. Roger Waters as a vehement anti-Semite in numerous public statements where he particularly denigrates Jewish individuals, interviews, public appearances, even in, I think, in Twitter or other social networks. He attributes to the Jewish people prototypical characteristics of anti-Semitic ideology, such as being greedy or bankers who want to control the world. He displays, every time that he has an opportunity, he displays an alarming hatred against the state of Israel. Not criticizing his policy or his administration, government, or Mr. Netanyahu or whoever. He compares the state of Israel as Nazi Germany, with Nazi Germany. And there are records of numerous public appearances of Mr. Waters, where he, and I will quote, interviews where he has said, among other things, that global control is exercised by Jews. And I quote another statement of Mr. Waters saying that Jews are agents of foreign states, clearly referring to the state of Israel, that they, meaning we, the Jews, want to annihilate the human race. They want to kill us all, as he's saying. He has labeled AIPAC, the American Israeli Public Affairs Committee, and other Jewish organizations as extremists, alternating between calling them or Israeli or Jewish. He confuses and he mixes the concept of Israeli and Jewish. He puts all the things together.
Evelyn now is going to bring us up to what you did about this. So, Evelyn?
Yes. How did you try to stop him from using anti-Semitic expressions in his shows in Argentina last November? Last November, I think the show started. Which part did each of you play in that, and were other parties involved as well in that effort?
Uh, Here it's a good opportunity, Evelyn and Phyllis, to make a very relevant clarification. Okay, because the following clarification will understand your listeners to understand something that has been totally different from what has been attempted so far. We did not try to cancel nor stop the shows.
Like they did in
This is a
Germany.
very important thing to do because we are respectful of Mr. Roger Waters' rights to work, carry out illicit industries within the territory of the Republic of Argentina, which is a constitutional right granted to every inhabitant in Argentina, not only to Argentine citizens. So we took in high consideration Mr. Roger Waters' rights to express his art and provide his shows here in Buenos Aires. That's the reason why we did not attempt to cancel any shows. The only thing that we in a very extremely and in a very careful manner we did is to restrict the contents of the shows we were not attempting to cancel. Is that understood?
Yes.
We were not attempting to cancel the shows because that would violate Mr. Roger Waters' rights to work, okay? We just intended to limit the contents of the show. And in that regard, we requested a criminal prosecutor to take over control of the shows so as to make sure that none of the crimes that have been committed previously by Mr. Roger Waters outside in Argentina, namely in Germany, were committed again in Argentina, or the same crimes would be continued to be carried out in Argentina, okay? And we asked the criminal prosecutor to double check, to verify. And in that regard, we also took actions against the owner of the stadiums, which was, you might have heard of it, Club Atlético River Plate. You might have heard of a rivalry between River and Boca. Well, the shows were held, both shows, the one who took place in November 21st and November 22nd, 2023, took place in the River Plate Stadium, okay? And we gave we made a formal request to River, okay, in their character as owner of the premises in which the shows were to take place, to make sure that Mr. Roger Waters did not commit any crime in their premises, because otherwise they would also be held criminally responsible.
The producers.
Can I ask some clarification here? Just
and the
for
producers.
American audiences. What is the crime? In other words, under your law, as opposed to for other countries' law, what would be the crime?
The crime, perfect. The crime, it's I will put it in a very simple manner so as to your listeners be able to understand. Okay, is you are obligated under Argentine law to refrain from expressing or showing hate patterns based any hate patterns or discriminatory patterns based on sex, gender, religion, or on any other grounds. You cannot discriminate people by referring only to their religion, sex, origin, or race. You can discriminate people, okay, or can you differentiate people according to their capabilities, okay? It's not the same having a graduate law student with an A from you can discriminate a graduate student who got A's from a graduate student who got C's. That's not discrimination. The one who got A, the other got C's. But you cannot give an A because of his Catholic, Arab, Jews, and the other a C because he's Arab, Catholic, and Jews. So the crime here in Argentina, we understand that Mr. Waters have committed outside Argentina, okay, and then this is another matter to explain and elaborate, is that Mr. Roger Waters clearly infringed basically Section 3 of Law 23,592. This is a crime. This is a crime which is expressly provided for in an Argentine criminal law provision, which is discriminatory actions.
So just to clarify, based on the United States, where people can say certain things because it's freedom of expression, this limits the freedom of expression in Argentina to a crime to say hateful things based on someone's religion, race, etc. Did I say that correctly?
That's it. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's also that limit on free speech in Europe, for instance. Yeah.
Okay.
And so thank you for explaining that to us. So what was the outcome of the lawsuit?
Was it an actual lawsuit? So in other words, when you went to the criminal prosecutor, it was a lawsuit.
Yes, that's a good question. And let me make a very brief history on this. Okay, you remember we knocked a criminal prosecutor's office door, okay, to prevent the carrying out of new crimes in Argentina. Okay, the criminal prosecutor attended and got all the shows recorded. And she was of the opinion that nothing weird, nothing strange, nothing illegal have occurred in the shows. Opinion, and this, Phyllis and Evelyn, is very important to bear in mind. Opinion with which we fully concur. We agree with the criminal prosecutor that Roger Waters did nothing in Argentina. He behaved perfectly as a result of the actions that have been taken before the criminal prosecutor's office on the one hand, and the request made to River Plate and the producer of the show, who again was given notice to the extent that if something goes wrong, okay, you will have a huge problem, along with Mr. Roger Waters. So what we assume is that the producer and River must have talked with Roger Waters and said, "Sir, please calm down, because we do not have to have any legal problems here in Argentina, because you gave 2 shows and then you fly back to whatever. We stay here. We do not want to face criminal prosecution." Whatever the story might have been, the fact is that Mr. Roger Waters, unlike what happened in other countries, here in Argentina, he did nothing. And this is very important to stress. But the funny story begins just here, because this is not the end of the story. This is the beginning of the story for us. Because the criminal prosecutor was extremely excited and happy that nothing had happened. So she said, "Okay, there's nothing to do." And we said, no, hold your horses, honey, hold your horses. Okay, there's a lot to do. Nothing has happened in Argentina, but we are not questioning things done in Argentina. We are questioning things done by Mr. Roger Waters before, outside Argentina, which in our opinion have effects inside Argentina. Okay? And the criminal prosecutor said, "Okay, no, but I'm not interested in that." Okay, I'm not interested in that. And say, "Okay, we respect your position, but we certainly are interested in that." So the conflict of opinions between ourselves as legal counsel to the criminal plaintiff on the one hand, and the opinion of the criminal prosecutors on the other hand, was finally settled, and this is the very important thing, was finally settled, okay, addressed and decided upon in a criminal hearing held before a criminal court. And the criminal court basically said, "Mr. Prosecutor, Mrs. Prosecutor, if you don't want to continue the action, okay, that's your choice, but I will allow Mr. Sicherbaum to continue with this action criminal action against Mr. Roger Waters. So basically what can clearly and undoubtedly stated, can be undoubtedly stated is nowadays, Mr. Roger Waters is not having a different opinion on this, on that. From a technical standpoint, Mr. Roger Waters is a part of a criminal lawsuit and has a criminal action against him duly filed and in due course within a criminal court within Argentina.
So if I understand you well, you managed to prevent Roger Waters from using his usual anti-Semitic props and expressions during his show in Argentina, by informing his team and the theater and the producer that legal steps would follow if he would do his usual show. You did not prevent the show, but you prevented the anti-Semitic parts of it successfully, which is great. And you are still trying to get him convicted for the crime of anti-Semitism as an effect of his anti-Semitic expressions abroad. Is that correct?
That is perfectly correct.
Okay. Okay. Well, congratulations with getting to this result already. I mean, preventing anti-Semitic expressions in a show of a mega star is a mega accomplishment. So thank you for standing up in this effective way to Roger Waters.
Can I ask a question,
anti-Semitism.
Evelyn?
Yeah.
I want to ask, since we heard a lot from Luis, I want to ask Sergio. So in my understanding, this wouldn't work in the United States, I don't think, but in European countries, in other words, Germany could have chosen your approach instead of trying to cancel the concerts in those countries where there is a limit on free speech in terms of hate speech. Because we like to encourage what other people can do. Other people, because we have listeners all over the world, can follow your lead in countries where this law exists. Correct? Not try and cancel the concert, but put everyone on notice that there can be criminal charges if they break the law. Did I say that correctly?
Sergio?
Yeah.
You're a lawyer. You're a covered lawyer, Phyllis, right?
No,
You are a
Phyllis is not a lawyer.
My husband's a lawyer,
Not a
a
lawyer.
tax
Your
lawyer.
husband. Okay.
No, actually, we receive a huge support that I want to mention and emphasize. We receive a huge support from Ariel Helblum, the director of the
Come to the microphone, please.
Sorry.
Yeah.
We receive a huge support from the Ariel Helblum, the director, the CEO of the Simón Wiesenthal Organization for Latin America and the Caribbean. And through Ariel and the Wiesenthal organization, we had advised other Jewish community to take steps towards the perform of Mr. Wiesenthal as the Costa Rican community and Mexican community. And it's true. Actually, we don't know, and we are not certain that any legal steps were taken towards Mr. Rogers or his shows. The only record that we have in mind and we know is of the city of Frankfurt, that they canceled the show, and Roger Waters' lawyers they appealed the decision to a judicial court, and the court allowed the show in Frankfurt. But we don't know any record of existence or any lawsuits against Roger Waters. So this may be the first, at least, or one of the first.
Yeah, but so every country has different laws. The United States has the biggest freedom of speech, I think, of all countries in the world, but many other countries have restricted freedom of speech. in Germany trying to prevent the show from taking place did not
Work.
succeed in court, but your approach was different. Your approach was not to cancel the show, but to cancel the anti-Semitic expressions in the
Criminal
show.
acts.
And that worked, at least in Argentina. And I hope that in other countries, this approach will also be, I don't know,
Utilized.
looked at. Yeah. Okay. So,
Luis,
I
what?
understand. I understand what you say, Evelyn. You're right. But one thing is, here in Argentina, we also have free speech laws. Okay, free speech laws. And precisely those kind of free speech laws are the one who would have prevented us from petitioning the cancellation of the shows. Okay?
Right. We understand.
The free speech laws, what say is you must say and you must do, or you must say whatever you want to say. You have no limits. Say whatever you want to say, but we work with what you say, because if you say violates a law, you will not have been prevented from saying what you wanted to say, but you will have to bear the consequences of what you said.
Very,
Okay.
very.
So here in Argentina, the free speech laws are not, or at least as we saw them, are not intended to give a blank check to write any number on the check. Okay, you can do whatever you want, but if there are other laws, because free speech laws are what they are, laws, and nothing more than laws. But there are other laws who are the discriminatory laws, who also form part of the Argentine criminal legal system. Okay. Nice. In other words, you could not use the free speech laws as an excuse or as a request to immunity under discriminatory laws.
I see.
Okay. This does not mean, sorry, Evelyn, sorry, I don't want to extend a lot of it. This does not mean that the clear conclusions that you notice that we arrived to poses great and passionate issues of international criminal law, which need to be elaborated and investigated and addressed and decided, but are issues that are upon the table, okay, and need to be addressed and solved. And this is a golden opportunity for the Argentine criminal system to express a flexibility and adaptability to laws in the 21st century, to laws that have been drafted in the 19th century, some of them, because the world changes. We change, the law changes, and the world changes, although the law does not change. So there are philosophical issues, very complex. I do not want to get into, because your audience will get more than unnecessarily bored.
Okay. All right.
We're coming to the end of the interview. I don't know if Evelyn has another question. I asked the questions that I wanted, because I really wanted to make it clear what people could do in other countries where the criminal law gives them a pathway to not canceling the concerts, but controlling the anti-Semitic content. So unless Evelyn has something else to say, do you have any last thoughts? Oh, Evelyn does. Go ahead.
Yeah, what I hope is that in other countries than Argentina, organizations where Roger Waters comes with his shows, that they will contact the Simon Wiesenthal Center Latin America or you to see how they could translate this successful model of yours to their national situation.
We'll put the link to your law firm in the description of this podcast. So if people want to get your advice, they will be able to do it easily, or hopefully easily. Do you have last thoughts before I do the wrap up?
I would like to say something about it regarding any kind of anti-Semitism, because Roger Waters is not the only person that we hear every day in the public media discriminating or Jews or other minorities. I think, and as a Jew, I think that it didn't work for us to keep quiet and continue with normal life as nothing had happened. Witnessed in the past the rise of anti-Semitic regimes. This time we cannot and shall not stay indifferent in front of discriminatory and anti-Semitic speech or actions. As a Jew, as Jews, we have to confront anti-Semitism and discrimination in general, and not to keep quiet. Every one of us with the tools at hand. It happens to me. I'm a regular Jew that happens to be a lawyer, but nothing but a regular Jew who has helped to his non-Jewish friends to confront anti-Semitism. There is a lot of people committed with the tolerance, democracy, and coexistence. It's not only the Jewish people, and we are not alone in this fight. And it's not only our problem; it's a problem of whole humanity. So we shall stand against discrimination of any kind. That's my thought. That's what I try to pass on to my kids and my fellow friends.
And I would like to add the following, Phyllis and Evelyn. We truly, I learned about your job. You do a fantastic job. Okay, you do a fantastic job, and we respect and value it greatly.
Cherish.
And it's really been great sharing this time with you.
Thank
you,
you.
Luis.
Really, this has been a very important interview for people understanding there are different legal ways to stop this anti-Semitism from spreading. That's what our show is about. We thank our listeners. For those of you who want to know more about Evelyn and myself and our projects, you can go to Never Again Is Now podcast on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. And as we end every episode, and you two are perfect examples, I mean, it brings almost tears to speak up against anti-Semitism and all hate.